And I saw this hand reach out in front of me, and I could see his sleeve, and it was like a long white sleeve. And he reached his hand out and he says, "Follow me." I look up and I take his hand, and I knew instantly, without even asking him who he was, that it was Jesus. I turned to my mom and I said, "Mom, it's Jesus, and he wants us to follow him." And so I take her hand and I look up at him again, and all I can see is a bright light behind his head. So where I couldn't see his actual face, but I could see his entire white like garment. And like I just knew like deep inside exactly who it was. So he takes us down this rock path, and as we go down the rock path, we see the open tomb, just like you picture, like the rolled to the side rock, things that you've seen in like religious pictures. And we go inside. He takes me and my mom to this wall, and on the wall it has a painting. The painting is The Prince of Peace by Akiani, and if you haven't seen it, it's a portrait of Jesus. And he says, "What do you see?" And I tell him, "Well, that's you." And he said, "Okay, are you sure?" And so I look again and I look closer, and I'm like, and I noticed that the face where Jesus was morphed into my face. And I said, "It's me." And he said, "Look again." And then it was my mom. And he said, "Look again." And then it was my dad. And it started to morph into all these different faces of all these people I recognized. And then eventually it was just so many different faces. And I was like, "It's all of us." And he said, "Exactly. You were made in my image. I am the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last."